The lights go out. For a second, you freeze. Nothing moved, nothing changed, but your brain asks one question. What if something is there? And that reaction is far older than electricity. So here's the strange question. If evolution removes what no longer helps us survive, why are humans still afraid of the dark? Before electric light, darkness wasn't an empty room. It was a blind spot in the middle of a dangerous world. Beyond the small circle of a fire, the landscape simply disappeared. No flashlight, no streetlights, no glowing buildings on the horizon, and no reliable way to know what was moving beyond the edge of your vision. For much of our evolutionary history, humans lived alongside predators, big cats, hyenas, crocodiles, and countless other animals capable of turning one moment of inattention into a fatal mistake. We weren't always the dominant hunters. Sometimes we were the hunted, and at night, the problem became even worse. A predator could be close, without being visible. You couldn't see it, but it could still see you. And here's where darkness becomes more than just the absence of light. It removes information. You can't see what's behind you. You can't identify distant movement. You can't easily tell what made that sound. And when the brain loses information, it has to predict what might be happening. A branch becomes a person. A shadow becomes an animal. A harmless sound becomes a possible threat. Not because your brain knows something is there, but because it can't confidently prove that nothing is. And uncertainty is exactly where an ancient survival system becomes useful. Your brain contains networks that help detect and respond to potential threats. One important part of that system is the amygdala. It isn't simply a fear button. It's involved in evaluating potential danger, and helping your body prepare to respond. You hear something, your attention sharpens, your muscles tense, your heart may accelerate, and sometimes, your body reacts before you've consciously worked out what you're hearing. That isn't necessarily a malfunction. It's what an alarm system is supposed to do, because two humans hearing the same sound in prehistoric darkness could make two very different decisions. One thinks, probably nothing. The other thinks, maybe something is there. If there's nothing, the second person experiences a few seconds of unnecessary fear. But if there is a predator, hesitation could be costly. So the system doesn't need perfect accuracy, it needs to be useful, and that distinction may have mattered enormously. But this isn't only about darkness, it's also about how the human brain learns what to fear. Humans don't learn every danger in exactly the same way. Some evolutionarily relevant threats can attract our attention, or become associated with fear, more readily than others. Snakes, spiders, predatory animals, sudden movements. That doesn't mean we're born with a complete list of fears. Experience matters, culture matters, learning matters, but evolution may have shaped the machinery through which certain dangers become especially important to us. And darkness creates the perfect setting for uncertainty. You can't see the snake, you can't see the predator, you can't see what moved. You only know something might be there, and for a survival system, might can be enough, because survival has a brutal imbalance. A false alarm can cost you energy, a missed alarm can cost you your life. Imagine two possibilities. Nothing was there. You reacted anyway. You lose a moment, your heart races. You stay alert, but then nothing happens. Now imagine the opposite. Something was there, you ignored the sound, you stayed still, you relaxed. And you were wrong. One mistake costs you a few seconds, the other could cost you everything. So natural selection doesn't necessarily favor a brain that is perfectly calm. It can favor a brain that becomes cautious when the evidence is incomplete. Think about that. Your brain doesn't always ask, is there definitely a predator? Sometimes. The more important question is, could there be one? That tiny difference could have helped keep an ancient human alive, and you've probably experienced a modern version of it. You walk into a completely empty room at night, you know you're alone, you've checked, and yet, for one brief moment, you feel like you're not. Nothing moves. The room is silent, but you look toward the doorway anyway. Maybe toward the hallway, maybe behind you. You know there's probably nothing there, and still, you check. Have you ever felt that? That strange sensation that someone, or something, might be watching you. There's usually no evidence, but the feeling arrives anyway, and that tells us something important. Fear doesn't always wait for certainty. Sometimes uncertainty is enough. Now bring that ancient system into the modern world. We have electricity, walls, locks, security cameras, phones. And very few of us regularly face the predators that once surrounded our ancestors. So why hasn't the alarm disappeared? Because technology changes much faster than biology. Our environment transformed rapidly. Our nervous system did not. The same brain that once had to make decisions beneath a dark prehistoric sky, now stands in a bedroom at midnight. The environment changed. The alarm didn't completely catch up. A creaking floorboard, a dark hallway, a sound outside the window. Your conscious mind says, there's probably nothing there, but another part of your brain asks, are you absolutely sure? And now the original question changes. Maybe evolution never needed to remove our fear of the dark, because the fear was never really about darkness. It was about what darkness takes away: certainty. When you can't see, you can't confirm. When you can't confirm, your brain has to predict. And when being wrong once could have been catastrophic, caution made sense. So perhaps evolution didn't give us a simple command that says, fear the dark. It gave us something more useful. Pay attention when you can't see what might be coming. Darkness just happens to be one of the strongest environments for triggering that ancient problem. So, next time the lights go out, and your heart beats a little faster, don't immediately ask, why am I being irrational? Ask a different question. What kind of world made this reaction useful? The answer takes us back, far beyond the modern world, a world without electric light, a world where a strange sound could mean nothing, or everything. A world where surviving wasn't about knowing that you were safe, it was about noticing danger, before it was too late. That ancient world is gone, but parts of the nervous system shaped by living in it, remain. So you don't have to obey the fear, you don't have to believe there's something hiding in the darkness, you can simply understand what the feeling is telling you. It's an old alarm, operating in a new world, and maybe that's what makes the fear of darkness so fascinating. It isn't simply a weakness left behind by evolution, it's a reminder of the world that shaped us. So when the lights go out, and that small voice inside you asks, what's there? Remember, that question may be one of the oldest things still living inside you, before a modern man, because the human body may live in the modern world, but parts of the human mind still belong to the ancient one.